Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Professor Aini, uh, Professor Renu, and my favorite minister, Dr. Sri Idris. And I never expected such an audience today. You've really given me a lot of energy. Welcome, everyone. University Putra, Malaysia. Thank you for giving me such a lovely welcome to this fantastic campus. And I was briefed just now by the minister that really this is not just about a lecture, and hopefully I'll get more involved in UPM in lots of things. So from today, I officially adopt UPM as AirAsia's official university. And why don't we start off a little bit differently? Who would like to fly? Okay, if someone comes up to the stage, the first person with something red, I'll give them a prize. Red notebook. Okay, what's your name?
Khairul, sir.
Khairul, what do you do?
Master students.
Master student in what?
Political communication.
Political communication. The government may need your help. Okay, where would you like to fly?
Oh my God!
You pick.
Boracay.
Boracay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have a ticket to Boracay.
Sir.
Wow. You see, he is a true Malaysian. Give one, he wants two. Are you married?
Nope.
Nope.
Not single, eh?
Not single.
Yeah.
Not single. Oh, okay. Okay, is your girlfriend here? No? Do you want to take another girl? Now's your chance. No witnesses.
My close friend, Dalila.
Close friend Dalila, come up.
Oh my God, this is so... Oh my God.
How close is close friend?
Been friends together for like 8 years.
8 years. Okay. So you can have 2 free tickets to Boracay. And we'll pay for your hotel accommodation as well. One room or 2 rooms? Okay.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Enjoy Boracay.
Okay.
You take one picture.
Okay, take one picture. Okay, thank you.
All right. That's the first part of the CEO lecture. All right. What I'm going to do today is really kind of give you my life experience, try and give you some thoughts, some energy into your future careers, and into as you're deciding what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Life is fantastic. You know, we only live once, and so we must make the most of it. And so I'm going to be giving you my experiences and how I just did things the way I wanted to do it, and hopefully encourage you to go and be the best you possibly can. Okay? So I haven't actually seen this presentation, so I'm not sure what's on here. So we'll wing it. Oh, right. So that's me 51 years ago with my mother. My mother was a huge influence in my life. She sold Tupperware, and she was probably the greatest salesperson I have ever met. And actually from her, I learned so much. And I was mentioning to the minister earlier, and your professors that communication is probably the most powerful tool a human being can have. And my mother was a music teacher at Convent Bukit Nanas, and then she had the idea of starting Tupperware in Malaysia. And she built Tupperware into this huge organization, party plan, and I used to fly all around Malaysia with her. And I saw how she was such a powerful communicator and how she could motivate people to sell more Tupperware. And she used to wake me up like at 3 in the morning, let's compose a song. And the two of us would be composing songs, right? I remember flying around Malaysia and playing these songs. I got a Tupper feeling up in my head. And we playing the piano, sell more Tupperware, sell more Tupperware, sell more Tupperware. But the power of music, the power of motivation was amazing. And that's kind of where I got my first love for planes, because we used to fly around Malaysia on meeting dealers, conventions, etc. And when I didn't, I used to go to the airport earlier. And I always told my dad, who was a doctor, that I really wanted to own an airline. Of course, he didn't take me seriously, but from like 6 years, 7 years old, it was always in my mind that I'd like to own an airline. And today, my speech is all about dreams and having dreams. And don't let people tell you you can't do anything you want to do. Because the power of your own belief, the power of making your dreams come true can come true. The best piece of advice I can give you today is really to follow your heart and not let anyone deter you from your mission, whatever that mission is. So those are my early years. As mentioned by the MC, I was schooled here till 12. And then one day my father came to me and said, I'm sending you to boarding school in England. Sounded an interesting concept. And I'd never been outside of Malaysia. And so we were at Subang Airport. Those days, Subang was very easy. You could wave to people. There was no security like we have today. And half my village came to see me off. I was wearing my school uniform, unaccompanied miner's badge, and I felt pretty cool, And then the coolness wore off when I got on the plane. I was 12 years old. I had my Samsonite bag, Maggie mee in the Samsonite bag, and I arrived in Heathrow Airport, and everyone was white. I thought, wow, I've never seen so many white people before. And I told my daughter, you have no such problem now, because when you arrive in Heathrow Airport, everyone's Indian. So you'll feel quite at home. And my father was a bit of a crazy guy. He just gave me like 50 pounds and said, find your way to your school. So I was 13, I never, 12 or 13, I never been in England. And I had to find a bus to take me to my school. And when I arrived in this school, I was like, oh my God, what have I done wrong in my life? It was like a prison camp. And, there was no mobile phones, no internet, etc. I remember calling my mother up and my father using 10 pence coins and saying, can I come home for half term? And she said, no, it's too expensive. And, maybe the end of the year. And I said, okay, one day I'm going to make it cheap to fly. And it was always in my brain about airlines and making it affordable to fly. And I'll tell you later about one of my dreams. And then in Epsom, I love sport, different body. I played cricket for England schoolboys and hockey for England schoolboys. And sport, I think, is so critical. And I really hope UPM and other universities put a lot of emphasis into extracurricular activities. It's not just about getting a first-class honors degree. It's not just about getting 15 A's. It's about getting an all-round education and being able to experience everything and understand what you're best at. And so, driving into this campus, it looked fantastic that you had such great facilities. Make sure you use those facilities. It's not just about getting the degree. University is the best time of your life. It's about meeting people. It's about experiencing things that you never had a chance to experience. It's about trying subjects and courses and degrees that you never thought you were doing. And then you shape yourself and discover where your heart lies, So make use of this fantastic facility driving in gave me a lot of encouragement. I thought, wow, I'd love to be a student again. And talking to Professor Aini, 42 years in UPM. Please give her a round of applause. That is one hell of an achievement. It's really strange for me lecturing here and seeing the minister in front of me. It's kind of cool to lecture a minister. Don't put me in jail, okay? So after school, and this bit was probably my more formative days. All right, this bit maybe the professors won't really want me to say, but when I was doing, my father was a doctor, and from the moment I came out of my mother's womb, I had a stethoscope around me, and it was brainwashed into my head that I was going to be a doctor. At O levels, I had to make a decision on whether to do physics, chemistry, biology, which was crucial to do medicine or do something else. And I told my parents that I wasn't going to do physics, chemistry, and biology. I wanted to do history, economics, and biology. And it was like World War XVII in the house. No, you have to do medicine. You know, I said, but it's my life. That made no difference. So second lesson, it's your life, guys. You decide what you want to do with your life. Don't let anyone tell you what to do, because you only have one life and you got to do what you want to do and not live your life through your parents or through someone else. So really, really important. There are too many people who go into degrees and do things just because someone told them to do it. You've got to have a passion for what you want to do. So how did I deal with this? I told my parents, if you make me do physics, chemistry, and biology, I will fail. Now, of course, they thought, no way he would do that. But then they learned about me 2 years later. I had I had 3 A's in the sciences in O levels. And for 2 years, I did nothing, except for biology, because that's the subject I wanted to do. So I got A for biology in A levels, and I got 2 F's, because I just wrote my name on the paper for physics and chemistry and fell asleep. And so I got my initials, Anthony Francis Fernandez, A for biology, F for chemistry, and F for physics. And I think my parents disowned me after that. But I wasn't going to be forced to do something I didn't want to do. So of course I didn't get into university, and I took 2 years off. And it was a fantastic 2 years for me. I bought a flight to America, and I worked from New York down to Florida. And then I crazily, I was really dumb. I said, I want to go to San Francisco, and looked at the map, and I said, oh, that isn't very far. So I took a bus from Orlando to San Francisco. 3.5 days later, I arrived in San Francisco, and I swore I would never go on a Greyhound bus again. And so everything's gravitating towards airlines, you can see now. And then I worked from San Francisco down to Los Angeles. And I had a fantastic experience, I did loads of jobs. I worked in hairdressers. I played the organ at Fenway Park in Boston, the Boston Red Sox. I was the third relief organ player. I was a musician in Los Angeles. I worked in a studio. I did all kinds of things. And then I still wasn't ready to go to university, basically because I had no qualifications. And so I went to Australia, and I taught in a school in Surfers Paradise. I coached hockey and cricket and taught mathematics to 8-year-olds who are still probably suffering from my lectures. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better today. And then I thought, wow, my parents have spent a lot of money on me, and I have achieved nothing in my life. So I went back to London. I got a job as a waiter in the Cavendish Hotel, and I retook my A-levels, and I got good grades, and I went to the London School of Economics and did that. And then I did accountancy because I didn't know what else to do. I came out, I did professional exams, and I passed those, and then I got my first job as an accountant, which was the worst experience of my life. auditing was really tough. And the toughest thing was every 15 minutes you had to fill up your timesheet. So I was a musician, I loved music, so I applied to every record company. And every record company basically told me to go to hell, you have no experience. Except one, Virgin, that gave me an interview. So I was very excited. I went to Virgin and did the interview, and they said, you know, we love you, but sorry, you have not the right experience, so we can't give you the job. Life is amazing though. You know, if you're positive and you just hope for something, it's amazing how your luck can change. As I was walking out of the door, Richard Branson was walking in. And Richard said hello to me, and he said, why are you here? We started talking, and I said, oh, I came for a job, but you guys rejected me. And he said, oh, you look an interesting guy. Let's have a chat. And so we sat down and had a coffee, and he said, you know, I'm going to give you a job because there's something special about you. And so by pure luck, meeting Richard Branson, I got my first job at Virgin Records. And very quickly, he promoted me to financial controller of Virgin Television, which is an amazing experience. But I went to Virgin Television. Are there any accounting students here? Yeah? Cool guys. So not many of you, but I love you all. Later, I'll give the accounting faculty a free ticket as well. So anyway, when I went to Virgin Television, the balance sheet didn't balance. It was like, whoa. And there were like Christmas trees on the cash book, and it was a mess. So I kind of fixed it, we got it right. And then one day, Richard Branson calls me up and says, Tony, I'm going to start an airline. I said, are you mad? You know, you can't start an airline. You don't have enough money to start an airline. He said, no, I hate British Airways. I'm going to start an airline. So I knew Richard didn't have enough money to do an airline and the record company. So I knew he was going to sell us. So I applied for another job, and I got a job at Warner Music, and I left Virgin. Sorrily, because I loved Virgin. I was right because Richard sold Virgin Records to EMI, but where I was wrong was Virgin people took over EMI. So I went to Warner. I was a finance guy in the basement, and I was kind of doing really boring jobs. And we were writing these reports, which were really dumb reports. I knew no one was going to read this report. So I went to my boss and I said, can I change this report? And he said, no, this is how we do it for the last 10 years. You continue doing it. So for me, next most important thing, I couldn't take someone's salary and just produce and do a job which I thought was a waste of time. So I went and bought my own software. You never would have heard of it, called Harvard Graphics. And then I redid the report, and I sent it up to the chairman. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, I think I'm going to be fired tomorrow, but I got to stand for my principles that, you know, I know this report I'm producing, no one's going to read, so I want to redo it. So the next morning I came in, and everyone was around the computer looking at this report. And I went over there and I looked and I saw them looking at my report, and I thought, right, that's it, I'm going to be fired. And my friend in the company turned around and said, hey, the chairman wants to see you. He says it's the best report he's ever seen. So I went up, I was summoned to the gods on the 6th floor, and I went to see him, and we started talking, and he said, you have an amazing passion for music. He said, you know, why don't I send you back to Malaysia and make you general manager of Warner Music Malaysia. Now, again, I didn't think what the salary was. I didn't think, is this the right thing to do, etc. It was like a fantastic opportunity, and so I grabbed it. So that's the third lesson, guys. Opportunities don't come very often. If you see it, grab it and run with it. don't analyze. We Malaysians analyze, think too much, ask questions, ask parents, and by the time it's gone. So I just grabbed it. I didn't ask for the salary, I didn't ask what the contract was, I just went for it. I'd never worked in Malaysia, so I came back as a 25-year-old as general manager of Warner Music. And then 6 months later, I kind of did a lot of things. I signed Ella, I did Sheila Majid, etc. They promoted me to CEO of Warner Music. So I was 26 years old, and I was CEO of Warner Music, and I had an amazing career. You know, we brought, oh, thank you. So I'm telling you all this because life is experiences, and you got to grab those experiences, and you got to run with it. You know, so, and I did crazy things in Warner Music. You know, I started dangdut music. There was no professional dangdut music in Malaysia. There was a girl who sat outside my office for 8 hours, and I finally listened to her cassette, and it was amazing. And I never heard dangdut music properly. And I said to Nasser, what is this? He said, oh, it's dangdut music. I said, this is great. Let's sign her up. Her name was Emelina. And I am the original dangdut king of Malaysia, okay? And later, I will dance with Professor Aini and the minister. I know the minister likes dangdut as well. And so we built all this wonderful music. And one of the greatest experiences I had was one day, 5 guys in green came to see me. And we listened to their music, and it was fantastic. But then I kind of felt a bit weird about them, so I said, no, I'm not ready for them. I won't give you the whole story. And then later, 2 years later, they came back in white. And I said, okay, I'll sign you now. Still wearing eyeshadow. And they were called Raihan. And no one believed in this band, and me and Nasser thought this was fantastic. And it became the biggest selling album in the history of Malaysia. We sold 3 million units of Raihan. And every Malaysian bought it, whether they were Chinese, Indian, Malay. It was truly a fantastic piece of work. And that's what we pushed at Warner. Sheila Majid was truly Malaysian music. Zainal was truly Malaysian music. We really pushed that angle that we could have Malaysian music. And Raihan was the most amazing experience. So I progressed at Warner Music. And again, that's another lesson. Never look at, well, everyone will say to me, oh, no one has sold Nasheed music. No one has sold dangdut music. And I was like, why not? This is a great opportunity. This is fantastic music. It doesn't matter what someone else didn't do. And that's my whole life. No one had done low-cost carriers. And I just saw it as a great idea. So ideas are 100% of success. Just because someone else didn't do it doesn't mean it can't be done. And my whole life, whether from music to insurance to airlines, we've always tried to create new things. And that's what we've been relatively good at. So then I grew at Warner, and I became president of Warner Music in Asia. And I went through many mergers. You know, I started at Time Warner Communications, became Time Warner, CNN came along, and then AOL. And it's funny how you make your career, right? So there we go. At 2001, in July, I was sitting listening. We just had a huge merger. And I was sitting in New York listening to the owner of AOL. And I was thinking, this guy is crazy. You know, what is he talking about? You know, this is crazy merger. They will destroy this company. And I was already preparing myself to resign. I didn't want to be in a company that I didn't believe in the vision. And one statement, you know, for the accounting students, Time Warner came out with EBITDA, earnings before everything you don't like, you know, and then they call it cash flow. And then Steve Case says to me, Tony, what do you reckon the stock price should be in a year's time? And it was $80 then, and I thought, wow, listening to you, if it's still $80, you're doing a good job. But I knew I couldn't say that. So I said $90. And he went, wrong boy, $500. And then the famous Tony Fernandez mouth came. I said, please give me some of the drugs you are taking. And he kind of looked at me and I thought, okay, my career is over. So I thought these guys will destroy the company. So I left the room, I sold my stock options, and I went to my boss and I said, I quit. I think you guys will destroy the company. I don't want to take your salary and criticize you guys. My boss was so happy. He always wanted to get rid of me because he thought I was after his job, which I was. And so he thought, quick, pay him a check, so he goes. So I quit. I left New York, I flew to London, and I had no idea what I was going to do for the rest of my life. But I just didn't want to be a hypocrite and take someone's money and complain about it. So I was sitting in a bar, having a Ribena, and thinking about Terengganu, and I was looking up, and there was a guy on television talking about his airline, Stelios from EasyJet. And it looked fantastic. So I thought, wow, I'm going to do that. It just came to my head. I've always wanted to start an airline. Now's the time. So I went to Luton Airport, which is a small airport in the north of London, where EasyJet operated. And it was fantastic. I saw people flying to Barcelona for £8, to Paris for £6. Everything was orange. People were happy. I thought, wow, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start an airline. Now, there's a very fine line between brilliance and stupidity. It's very, very narrow. But I thought, I was 35. If I failed, I'll come back and be an accountant again. But I wanted to try, which is my next piece of advice. Never be afraid of failure. If you want to do it, do it. And if you fail, you fail. I failed in Formula One, but I don't care, I did it. We were there on the same grid as Ferrari and McLaren, and we did it. We failed. But you see, you have one life. You can't press your button and rewind and say, I wish I did it, because it's too late. So go out there and do whatever you want to do. And if you fail, you fail. Try again. And so that was my philosophy. So I called up my wife, and I said, hey, you know, I've left Time Warner. She was thrilled, because she always hated the music business. And then I said, I'm going to start an airline. After she stopped laughing, I said, no, I'm going to do it. And she said, why don't you open a roti canai stall? You know, you got to stomach for it. I said, no, 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 I have a dream, without sounding like Martin Luther King. And I came back, and, you know, I knew nothing about airlines, but I thought it's a great idea. Everyone wants to fly. Everyone wants to fly cheaper. So in business, for the entrepreneurs out there, the most important thing is the idea. If you have an idea, the rest is actually simple: execution, implementation, etc. The gold is the idea. And so the idea was, if I can fly people to Penang for 50, 60 ringgit at a time, will it work? Absolutely. So that became my passion. So I came back, and my best friend was Kamarudin Maranun. He was a banker. I knew him through Roslan Aziz Productions. He owned RAP. And I called him up and said, Din, you know, do you want to be my partner? I want to start an airline. Din was the only person who didn't laugh at me. He said, okay, let's meet tonight. We came to the office. I gave him the idea. He said, brilliant, let's do it. No big financial model, nothing, just the idea. And Din said, okay, let's do 50-50. I said, no, it's my idea. I want 51. He said, okay. So it's 51-49. And then I saw an alumni of your school, a bitter rival of mine in the record industry, Aziz Bakar, who always looked like he's asleep. But, I'm not sure what he did at UPM, but he became one of the great music legends. He was the CEO of BMG Music, though all his music sounded the same. Search, Wings, UK's, all the same. Just one guy's had longer hair than the others. But he sold a lot of records. And I said to Aziz, hey, do you want to join me and Din? And he went, 100%, let's do it. And so it was the three of us, right, that were the founders of AirAsia. And so our fourth hire was Rosman Omar, who was our financial controller, and he came to my house and said, Kamarudin sent me to build a business plan. Where do we start? I went, I don't know. So we got information from the internet, and we put our first AirAsia business plan together, me and Rosman, and it looked good. So we're sitting, me, Aziz, and Din, we're doing some stuff for the music industry, and Din says, we're having a roti canai actually in Dayabumi. And Kamarudin says, hey, how do we get an airline license? And so we all looked at each other. Yeah, like, how do you get an airline license? It's not like you go to Carrefour and buy an airline license, right? And then Aziz mentioned the magical Malaysian words. He said, we need political connections. And so we all looked at each other like, we have none. So where do we go? And so I had a brainwave. I said, hey, we're going to see Dato Pahamin now. This is Pahamin Rajab. He was KSU for domestic trade, and he was helping us fight piracy. Now, I'm sure no one in UPM has ever bought a pirated product. Oh, looking very guilty here. Professor Aini, have you bought a pirated product? Very good, she's nodding her head no. So we were going to see Dato Pahamin about piracy. And I said to Din, I said, hey, why don't we ask Dato Pahamin? He was in Ministry of Transport before. And he said, are you mad? This guy beats up people, right? Dato Pahamin used to go around and beat up taxi drivers and jail pirators, etc. And so I said, let's try. We got nothing to lose. So we went up to his office, and he was a crazy guy, right? A cool guy, but crazy guy. Outside his office was one of his director generals who was being punished for doing something wrong. And so Din said, you sure you want to talk to him about airlines? I said, yeah, let's do it. So we went in there, and we told our airline idea. And he said, it's a great idea. He said, I'll do it. You guys are very honest. You're very hardworking. I'll join you guys, because I'm retiring soon. He said, what do you want me to do? I said, can you be chairman? He said, sure. He said, what else? And then I said, can you get us to see Tun Mahathir? And he went, oh, problem. He said, Tun Mahathir doesn't like me much. I said, let's give it a try. So he got an appointment in August of 2001. So look, I was terrified, right? Go see Tun Mahathir, he's a scary looking guy. And I'd never seen someone so powerful in my life. So the appointment was at 11 o'clock. I turned up like at 6 in the morning, right? And the security door at Putrajaya was locked, actually. So I was sitting on the steps, then I came in, then Aziz came in, and a couple of guys recognized us and say, oh, why are you coming to see Tun? Is it about the music business? And we said, no, we're starting an airline. Of course, he laughed, but we were used to that by now. And he said, oh, bad day to see Tun. And we went, oh, why? He said, opposition are seeing him first, so he's going to be in a very bad mood. Fadil Noor and Lim Kit Siang had come to see him about Anwar Ibrahim's back operation in Germany. So they said he's going to be in a bad mood. So we went, oh, well, can't really change that. Then later, Dato Pahamin came, and he was talking to a bunch of serious-looking dudes, like all your professors here. And we said to Dato Pahamin, who are those guys? And you wouldn't believe it. He said, oh, that's Boston Consulting and Malaysian Airline System. They're going to talk to Tun Mahathir about their 8 billion restructuring. So I thought, oh yeah, no way we're going to get an airline. You're seeing opposition, MAS is coming, and these 4 jokers from the music business are coming in to start an airline. So we went in there, and you know, I don't know if you ever get to the Prime Minister's office, but it's a pretty large office. You can land a 737 in it. And it took a long time for Tun Mahathir to walk to the door. So he came, and he's not a friendly looking guy, you know, he's kind of scary guy. And he says, okay, make it fast, I don't feel very well. So I thought, great, your opposition, MAS, and he's sick. So we do the presentation, we still believe, don't worry. If we fail, but we got in there. For me, it was a miracle that we got in to see Tun in the first place. So I do the presentation, no reaction, slight reaction when I say I'm going to destroy Singapore. And, you know, a small little smile from Tun, but then that was it. And at the end of the presentation, he said, you guys are brilliant. He said, you're going to succeed because 1, you're not from the airline business, and 2, you are so passionate. I give you my blessing. So for 1 nanosecond, we were like, oh yeah. Then he said, but I have had too many failed airlines. You have to go and buy an airline. And he was really smart. He knew everything about low-cost airlines. He said he told MAS about it. We should look at this model. So we came out really later. I was on cloud 9. And Kamarudin said, where the hell are we going to buy an airline from? We've got like 1 million ringgit. I said, don't worry. We will find a way. If we're positive enough, we will find a way. And true enough, there were 2 airlines for sale. One was called Pelangi Air. Now, Pelangi Air, you had to be God or pretty close to God to turn around that airline. I had never seen a balance sheet like that in my life. And actually, the balance sheet should be in Museum Negara. It was the most amazing set of accounts I have ever seen. So we kind of walked away from that. And then we were playing golf, in the days we were playing golf, and we saw the corporate comm director of DRB HiCom. And we said, hey, doesn't he own an airline called AirAsia? And he said, yeah, we weren't sure. You know, sometimes you heard AirAsia, sometimes you didn't hear AirAsia, etc. So I went up to him and I said, hey, you own AirAsia? He said, yeah. I said, can we buy your airline? He said, yeah, you can have it tomorrow. And we thought, okay, this is interesting. So he set up to meet Dato' Tik and Saleh Sulong. We went to see him, me and Din, and we said, can you buy your airline? And he said, yes, you can buy it. It was consistent. And we said, you know, he said, how much do you want to buy the airline for? And I cheekily said, 1 ringgit. And he said, yep, you can still have it tomorrow. I thought, damn, I should have said, pay me to take this airline away. But DRB HiCom were fantastic. And on September the 8th, 2001, we signed to buy AirAsia from DRB HiCom for 1 ringgit, subject to due diligence. Me and Din said subject to due diligence because we were remortgaging our house. Me and Din were remortgaging our house to raise another 3 million ringgit. And so we signed the deal on September the 8th. 3 days later was 9/11. Welcome to the aviation business. Okay, suddenly everyone's like, oh no, you can't do an airline. Things are going, you know, crazy, et cetera, and I said, look, people still have to fly to Penang. So we go ahead. And on December the 8th, 2001, me, Kamarudin, Aziz, and Dato' Pahamin took over AirAsia with 2 planes, 254 terrified staff, because they'd only seen me and Aziz on Anugerah Industry Music, and now we were the owners of their airline. And it's been a fantastic story. So I'll finish off with a few points, especially for the management school here, on the airline. So that was me and Din on the first day at AirAsia. That was the old AirAsia logo. I was in Subang Airport. You can't really see it, hasn't come out very well, but you'll see that AirAsia was blue and green and had a bird on their logo. I never understand why people in airline business always want animals in their airline. We have birds, we have tigers, we have lions. In Malaysia, we have one named after an insect. It's called Firefly. The world's worst name for an airline, because firefly is the shortest living insect in the insect kingdom. So we decided to, for all the marketing students out there, we decided to get rid of the bird. We said, we don't have much money, we focus on one image. So again, for branding and marketing people, marketing is so critical, and too many Malaysian companies do not spend enough on branding and marketing. And I'll spend a little bit of time on that later on. So we said, why have two images? Get rid of the bird. And if you think of the greatest brands in the world, there's only one image in your mind. If I say Nike, you're thinking of the swoosh. If I say Coca-Cola, you're thinking of Coca-Cola in italics. If I say Shell, you're thinking of the Shell logo. There are never two images. So we got rid of the bird, and we used AirAsia as our logo. And again, we said stick to one color. So I tried really hard not to be red, because Richard Branson, and everyone thinks I want to be Richard Branson, but it was the most powerful color. So we changed AirAsia and used our logo, and we used a student who was on a holiday job to design our logo, and that was how we started. So that was December, 2 aircraft, 200 staff, 40 million of debt. And today, after 14 years, we now have 200 aircraft. We've carried 300 million people. This year alone, we will carry 60 million people. And for 7 years in a row, we have won the world's best low-cost airline. So it's been quite a story, from 2 planes to 200 planes. And I'm just going to give you a few management tips for your future careers, provided no one here decides to start an airline. Professor Aini, are you taking photographs because you're going to copy my airline? Aini Airways. Has a good ring about it. Just take over Rayani and drop the Rai. All right. So I'll finish off with 3 or 4 points for you. The whole first part of the presentation is really to inspire you to say that you can do anything you want to do. I was selling dangdut music, and now I'm running an airline. I knew nothing about airlines. Business is business. You have a sales line, you have a cost line, and you have a margin. Whether you're selling records, or whether you're selling plane seats, or whether you're in a university, it's the same P&L. And have a strong balance sheet. Cash is king. Accountants can make financial reports look like anything. The students who are studying accountancy can make a bad set of accounts look great. But bottom line is cash. So we've always run our company on the basis of cash flow and how much cash we are generating from the business. So whatever you do in your business, make sure it generates positive cash flow. Debt is fine, leverage is fine, but you always must have sufficient cash flow to grow your business. So, what's our secret? The most important secret, the most important ingredient in UPM is the people. UPM is UPM because of the fantastic lecturers that continue to provide excellent students, and that's why congratulations, for so many years you are in the top 50 for under 50. Well done to the faculty and all of you for keeping it up there. And as our minister says, let's hope UPM and the whole higher education industry continues to soar upwards. I think we need a little bit louder there. Soaring like AirAsia. As we take off this way. This way also can. So, the most important ingredient in AirAsia is people. The reason we've been able to grow from 2 planes to 200 planes is people. We have the most amazing staff in Malaysia. I really believe that. We've gone from 200 staff to 17,000 staff. We have no unions. It's a very flat structure. I dress the way I dress because if I wear a suit, etc., I put a distance between me and my staff. When I look worse than them, then they feel comfortable in talking to me, right? It causes me a problem. Malaysian airport security in the older days would say, "Who are you?" They think I was a Bangladeshi immigrant that just jumped off Biman or something. And I'd say, no, here's my card. Oh, Tony Fernandez, okay. But I really think it's important. Culture is really important in the company. We have no offices. We only operate from a desk. It's very open plan because everyone says they have an open door, but then the door is always closed. So we have no officers. It's very transparent. Transparency is the key to a successful organization. If you're open and transparent and have good corporate governance, then your staff don't need a union because they know exactly what's going on. The trust is there. There is no trust deficit. And employees feel very comfortable. And so that's our staff. And we've had the ability to turn raw diamonds into diamonds. And as you go on to be CEOs and leaders of organization, I don't care what anyone tells you, your biggest asset is the people in your organization. And we have been very unconventional in how we develop people, right? I don't care whether you have 15 degrees or whatever. We all come from different cultural and financial backgrounds. So people sometimes didn't have enough money for further education, but are much smarter than myself. So I decided that if we were going to grow, I had to unearth talent. And when I first started at AirAsia, I used to be a cabin crew, I used to carry bags, and I check-in staff. 2 reasons. You cannot be an effective leader unless you go down to the ground. If you just sit in your office, you will make the worst decisions. And secondly, I wanted to find talented people. So, I'll give you 2 examples. When I used to carry bags, we used to have the 737, right? 737, we would just throw the bags in. Actually, not throw the bags in. Lovingly put the bags in. Nice bag. And then the Airbus came, and we couldn't throw the bags in. So my ramp boy said to me, boss, we need belt loaders. And I said, no, cannot afford that. It's too expensive. So the next time I was carrying bags, they put me on the Indonesian flights. Now, people who fly on AirAsia generally bring their house with them. People who fly to Indonesia bring their neighbor's house as well. So there's a lot of bags. And I almost destroyed my back in the process. And I went, I'm wrong, you're right, we go buy belt loaders. Now, if I sat in my office, I would have destroyed many people's backs, and I probably would have started a union. And so I think it's really important that you as senior leaders get down to the ground often. I still do it. 50% of my time is walk around management. If you fly on AirAsia, chances are you'll see me at the airport, you'll see me with my staff, you'll see me, whenever I fly on the plane, I will meet every single passenger. And I'll talk to my crew and I'll talk to my pilots to find out. Management is about communication. It's about knowing the pulse of your company, the pulse of your passengers. Sitting in the office will not give you that. So 50% of my time is walking around the company. And I saw we had so many bright kids in the company. And so my first cadet pilot program, I was carrying bags in Cebu, and there was a super smart boy who left school at 13. And so I said to him, hey, you should become a pilot. He said, I don't have any qualifications. I said, I don't care. You're smarter than all of us. So the first cadet pilot program, I opened it up to everyone. I didn't care whether they had O-levels, SPM, whatever. And of the first 18 cadets, 11 came from within the company. There were warehouse boys, there was cargo, etc., etc. And this boy from Cebu who left school at 13. Now he had the highest marks ever in Malaysian Flying Academy. And today he's a captain in AirAsia. So you join to carry bags, 8 years later you're a captain flying a brand new Airbus. That's people development, and that's what we've been very good at doing, developing people. Coogan was a dispatch boy for us. His dream was to be a pilot. It took him 11 times, and I kept saying, don't give up, don't give up, keep going. And it was very emotional for me when he finally got in and got the job. And you know, we've had hundreds and hundreds of examples of people starting. Irene Omar was just an analyst, and now she's one of Malaysia's top CEOs, and will become one of the best CEOs I think Malaysia has ever produced. I told her 3 years ago, you're going to be a CEO, and she said, no, I cannot, I can't, etc. And now she's unbelievably amazing. So that is the asset in your company. And I remember there were no female pilots in AirAsia. And I said to my chief pilot, why are there no female pilots? And he came up with the most ridiculous answer, which can never be repeated. And I said, if a woman can run a country, she can certainly fly a plane. And today we have 62 female pilots. And the other day was history. Captain was female, co-pilot was female, all the cabin crew were female, and all the passengers were male. That last bit is not true. But I'm very proud of that. And again, if we didn't change a convention in Malaysia to have female pilots, we would have missed a whole section of society. And Malaysia, and in AirAsia, we don't care what race, creed, color, sex you are. If you want to be the best, you will be the best. And we really believe in a meritocracy. And most of our top management are women, actually. And this Thai girl is a fantastic story at the bottom. She came up to me in a bar when I was having a Ribena, and she said, you know, I want to be a pilot. And I said, go for it. She said, it's my dream. She passed her exams easily. She was very smart. Then she calls me up and says, everyone says I'm very beautiful. Can I take part in Miss Thailand? I said, interesting concept. Okay. If you win, I get to use your photograph for the rest of your life for free. And she did win. She won Miss Thailand, and she took part in Miss Universe and came 5th. So we're the only airline in the world with a Miss Thailand flying for them. Beat that, Singapore Airlines. But the moral of the story is, because we have a very flat structure, no one in AirAsia believes they can't do anything. And no one is afraid to pick up the phone and tell me, this is my dream. Can you help me make it happen? Everyone talks about innovation and people development and human capital. You have to create the environment for that to happen. You have to create an environment that people aren't afraid of taking chances, who aren't afraid of taking failure. A transparent, open society where people can shout at me and say, Tony, you're talking rubbish. To be a successful company, you have to be able to take criticism, and you have to be able to learn from that. Ego is the biggest killer, and hierarchy is the biggest killer of great ideas. So at AirAsia, I'd rather have 17,000 brains working for me than just 10. I'd rather everyone gives me ideas than just 10 people and the rest are implementers. So that's the unique source. So wherever you go, however high you go, whatever business you do, whatever company you do, leadership is the most important thing that you can do, and it's a gift to be able to lead people and to turn people from raw diamonds to diamonds. It's not about shouting, it's not about screaming, it's about turning that raw talent and finding that special source in the person that they didn't even believe they had. That's the great job of leadership. And so your biggest asset as you become CEOs, your most important management lesson I can give you is treat people well and allow them to be the very best at whatever they do. So please remember that as you become CEOs, leaders, and future ministers of higher education. I've told you all about this. You've got to have passion in what you do. Join a company, take a career that you love, because that's 50% of the battle. If you love what you do, you're going to excel. So please do what you want to do, not what your parents tell you what to do. And I told you about the talent already. Last bit, branding and marketing. Too many management companies, too many management students, we don't spend enough on branding. Branding in Asia, people want to see the bottom line straight away. You can't invest, Soaring upwardly is a brand which will take many years to get through to people, but you don't see the results the next day. CFOs say, oh, you invest in this, where's the results? AirAsia has built a global brand over the last 10 years by investing in a brand, and now we get the rewards back. So we did crazy things. We sponsored Manchester United. Very, very painful for me because I hate that football club. But they are the biggest football club in the world. And we were little AirAsia, 7 planes, and there was Vodafone and Budweiser and all these huge brands. But we didn't care because we were proud of our brand. And me and Cameroon would go to Old Trafford, and actually we'd never watch the game. We'd just watch our name on the billboard. We'd get really excited. We were real kampong boys. Oh, they're Asia, 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 while Wayne Rooney was playing. But our staff was so great. We painted a plane in Manchester United colors, and Manchester United players voted AirAsia as the #1 sponsor for 2 years, even though we were a tiny sponsor, because we were very people-orientated. It was the only team photograph that the entire team came, maybe because of our stewardesses, but they still came. And so please invest in a brand. Too many great ideas are killed by no marketing. Marketing is a killer. You have to have it. Now let me tell you a few stories. And always in a crisis, there's an opportunity, and marketing is your solution, right? During SARS, do you remember SARS? No one wanted to fly because they thought they'd all die, right? So every airline cut their advertising, and people were cutting flights. And so I told my marketing staff, this is an opportunity. Triple our marketing spend now. And they said, are you crazy? I said, no, this is the time. Because I know Malaysians very well. If you put a fare low enough, they will risk their lives. Okay? 800 ringgit to KK, SARS. 80 ringgit, who cares? I'm going. And we made money during SARS, and we grew. So marketing is key. After the Bali bomb, no one wanted to fly to Bali. Everyone was canceling their flights. And I said, we cannot cancel a flight. This is the time when Bali needs us the most. We must market ourselves out. So we came up with this Love Bali campaign, 5,000 free seats. Again, my Malaysian brothers didn't let me down. 5,000 free seats. We are not scared about bombs anymore. We are going shopping. People don't realize what a brave nation we are. And the 5,000 people who went to Bali had a great time. And it was free marketing. But us Malaysians, when we get a free deal, we will tell 100,000 people about it. And so they told everyone we had a great time in Bali. And so we never, ever canceled a flight to Bali. And I received the highest award from the Bali governor because we were the only airline who never canceled a flight to Bali. And so marketing is critical, and innovation. When I started, no one flew to Bandung. And I said, why do we fly to Bandung? And people said, no one flies there. I said, precisely. I said, I used to have to drive from Jakarta to Bandung to record Emelina songs. Let's go direct. No marketing, no analysis, we just flew to Bandung. And today we have 32 flights to Bandung from all over Southeast Asia. And you know, we created something out of nothing. And so there's always a market. And we were a little bit cheeky with our advertising sometimes. You know, Singapore would never give us rights to Singapore. So, you know, it used to irritate me. And you always see the Singapore airline girl, the robot-looking girl, they're all manufactured in some factory, and looking up in the sky with the top. So I did this ad here. I put our little 737 and 4 of our crew, and I said, there's a new girl in town. She's twice the fun and half the price. And instantaneously, everyone knew us in Singapore. And if you look at the skyscrapers, there's one skyscraper missing. Actually, oh, the presentation's gone. Can we put the presentation up? Oh, there we go. If you look at the skyscrapers, there's one skyscraper missing, which I erased from the Singapore skyline. That was Singapore Airlines Tower that we just took out from the ad. And we got 50,000 replies after that ad. So you can always be a little bit cheeky. And you know, that's it really for my presentation. I really wanted to tell you that you can do anything you want to do. And I'll finish with a story on this about dreams. About 3 years ago, my best friend from boarding school called me up and he said, hey, I found your tuck box. And a tuck box is a stupid box that you get given where you put your life's possessions in it. And I hadn't seen this box for 20 years, not 30 years maybe. And he said, shall I send it over? I said, yeah, send it over. So he sent it over to my house in London. And it was very emotional when I saw the box. There were 3 stickers on the box. And these were the 3 dreams I had when I was 13 years old. On the left was Qantas Airlines, and because I always wanted to own an airline. In the middle was a Williams Formula One sticker, because I always wanted to own a Formula One team. And on the far right was West Ham United, which was the football team I used to support. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, dreams do come true. And so I urge you all to live your dreams, to go out there and be the very best. We live in a fantastic country, far from perfect, but in this country, we can make dreams come true. We can go out there and be the best. Enjoy life. Don't be negative. Life is great. Enjoy every minute of it. Be positive. Don't waste your time on negative thoughts. Always find a positive solution and you'll enjoy life much more. And go out there and be the best at everything you want to be. Because no one remembers people who come second. They only remember the winners. So go out there and say, I'm going to enjoy today. I'm going to be the best at anything and everything I do. And life will be much more fun. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been tremendous. And I've really enjoyed being here. Thank you, Professor, all the professors, for inviting me up to meet all of you. I hope to spend some time as I'm walking down later, and I'm thrilled to now be associated with UPM. You're a great university, and I'm thrilled that you're here. And of course, it's very easy because your color is red. And I'd like to thank the minister. You know, I'm known for being outspoken. I'm not always the most favorite person in the cabinet. But I got to say this minister is a great guy. He's down to earth. He puts 110% into whatever he does. He's so enthusiastic. I gain nothing by saying nice things about him. But I always speak the truth. Sir, you're a good man, and we need more people like you in the Malaysian government, for sure. And finally, I promised one more free ticket to the accounting faculty. So, I'm just gonna do it old-fashioned. First one to run up to the stage from the accounting faculty. Okay, all right. You know what? This is what life's about. They ran, they tried, they pushed each other. There were no prisoners. But all three of you can have a free ticket. Okay. You don't know where I'm sending you, maybe to Johor Bahru.
Oh my God.
Where would you like to, what's your name?
Jenna. Jenna.
Jenna, where would you like to go, Jenna?
I would love to go to anywhere.
See, management is about making decisions.
Okay.
You have 3 seconds.
Sabah.
Sabah.
Yeah.
Where in Sabah?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm out of words.
Ah,
I'm out of words.
you're out of words. Let me give you a clue. Kota Kinabalu, Tawau, Sandakan, Labuan. Accounting faculty, you better give her a map of Malaysia. Quick, quick.
Krabi.
Hey, Krabi is not in Sabah. All right, we'll make it easy. 3 of you can go to Krabi.
Yeah, man.
Okay? All right. One, you have to go and visit the university in Krabi
Okay.
and bring a souvenir from UPM.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the capital of Sabah is Kota Kinabalu.
Thank
Congratulations.
You.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Have fun. Aziz will give you my card. All right? You want me to do questions or? Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay. Fire away. I'm ready.
We will now open the floor for question and answer. We have 4 mics around the hall. We got 2 in the middle and 1 on each side.
Okay. MC, thank you very much. You're a cool guy for managing me. I promised this cap to one of the professors. Which professor did I promise the cap to? Sir, come up.
Test.
Okay, I'm ready. First question.
Me. Afan. Here. Hello, Tan Sri Tony Fernandez.
Where are you?
I'm here.
Hi.
Okay, you can see me.
I can. You're wearing
Okay.
black.
Okay, I just called my mom that I meet Tony Fernandez.
Oh, yeah?
And she said, who is he? I said, what? Come on. He said, he is a CEO of Asia. Then she sent her regard to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is she?
At Pahang.
Pahang.
Teacher.
Where in Pahang?
Muazzam Shah, Rompin.
Oh, I
If
know
you
that. I know that.
Ah, you
I
sure?
used to work in a tea plantation there.
Oh, okay.
I know Muazzam Shah very well.
Oh, yeah.
There used to be a cattle farm.
So, which plantation estate? Cosma
Teh Dara.
or what?
Teh Dara.
Teh Dara.
Yeah.
Oh, just near my house.
There
yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
So tell your mom I'm coming to see her.
Oh, right.
And she better make me a nice cup of tea.
Yeah. Or Ribena, right? So, I'm a postgraduate student from UPM Bintulu campus.
Okay.
So actually, my doctor want to send me at Sabah. So I said, doctor, can you postpone? because I want to see Tan Sri Tony Fernandez.
Oh, thank you
He
very
said, "Yes,
much."
No problem, no problem. So right now I'm here.
Okay,
So I just want to ask you two questions.
sure.
So I'm one of the members of BBM, Backpackers Buddies Malaysia. So is it true that the cheapest ticket of AirAsia is on Tuesday and Wednesday? That's my question.
I see that's going to really help your postgraduate studies.
Yeah.
Every day there's cheap fares, my friend.
Yeah.
So just keep looking.
So the second question is, actually you have answered it already. I just want to ask, why all the richest, it's not richest, rich people wearing a plain t-shirt? It's like Mark Zuckerberg or, you have a white t-shirt, plain, right? So I want to be one of the rich person, so I'm
Okay.
wearing plain t-shirt.
Okay, take your shirt off now. I give you my t-shirt. All right. I don't know how to answer that question. You've stumped me. I've never lost for words. But basically, I don't know. I haven't seen Vincent Tan or Tan Sri Halim wear t-shirts. But I think, for me, I said it in my speech. I like to be casual. I love people. I'm a very simple person, and so I dress simply. You know, I don't have bodyguards. I drive a lot myself, and so t-shirt is what I feel most comfortable wearing. So I don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, if I wear a t-shirt, I will earn another billion ringgit this year." It's just who I am. Okay?
Okay,
So
last chance.
I think
You
the
said-
ladies are pushing you out of the way.
You said before that opportunity doesn't come often.
Yeah.
So may I take a selfie with you right now? If I go to stage, please
May I what?
take a selfie with you. Picture.
Selfie with me, sure. Come on the
I know
stage
it's
now.
not- Oh, thank you.
Okay, while he's coming on the stage, next question.
Hello, Dr. Tony.
Yeah.
My name is Suha.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a Bachelor of Tourism Management, not from UPM, I'm from UMT.
Uh-huh.
I have two questions from you.
Yep.
First is, if there is an impact from QZ8501 crash, what is the impact? And my second question is, what is working area that I can be in AirAsia?
What is what?
Working area. I want to be part of AirAsia.
Oh, sure. Okay. Let me take selfie with future billionaire.
Why not we just backstage?
Backstage. Oh, yeah? Oh, cool. Great. Good to meet you. Take care. Okay. The questions. Second one. What was your name?
Suha.
Suha. Suha, my email is tonyfernandez@airasia.com. Send me your CV, and we will see what job we can get you.
Thank you.
Okay? First question. Look, QZ8501 was the toughest thing in my life. And I think, you know, when it happened, I never believed it would happen. And we talked about all the positive things in leadership. You've got to deal with the negative things in leadership as well. And when the crash happened, you know, it was the worst day of my life, and it continues to be the worst day of my life. So there was a decision on do I go or do I not go? Because it was an Indonesian airline and we were not majority shareholders. But me and Kamarudin said, this is our airline, this is our staff, these are our passengers. We cannot hide. We cannot only be there for the good things. We have to lead from the front. And so we went there to Indonesia, and we faced thousands of cameras. I remember coming into Surabaya, and all the world's media was there, and I could hear them say, Tony's here, let's go live. And we had to deal with it. And I made the decision to go and see every single family, which was unprecedented in the airline history. Most of the times the CEOs don't go. It was my responsibility. I was the CEO. I had to meet every single one, and it was the hardest thing I have ever done, and probably will be the hardest thing I've ever done. And I gave my mobile phone number to every single family because it was our responsibility. So I think the impact, because of the way we handled it, actually was very minor. But for me, it is the single worst thing of my life, and it keeps me motivated that I have to be the very, very best at whatever we do. We owe it to the people that lost their lives on AirAsia and to my staff who lost their lives, that wherever they are, they can sit back there and say they're proud of AirAsia because we're doing the very best at what we can. So the impact wasn't great. The impact to me mentally was huge. It was a massive, massive dent in my life. But I've used it to motivate ourselves and to make sure we're the very best at whatever we do. So I look forward to getting your CV, Suha, and hopefully one day you'll be wearing red and taking over my job.
Thank you. Can I ask one more question? Can I take photo with you?
You can take photo, but we'll do it at the end, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to delay everyone here.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay.
Next
Just an
question.
announcement.
Tansri, on your right.
On my
up the
right.
hall.
Where's my right?
All right, just
Oh, hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, just an announcement. Since we have so many lining up for questions, can we limit one question per person?
Okay, I
Go
have
ahead.
one question for you. My name is Aida, and I'm studying corporate communication,
Yeah.
second year. This is my friend, and we are going to organize a mobility program to China in August.
Okay.
And we were wondering, there's
Is this a
20
question or a request?
It's both. It's both.
Okay.
We were wondering if we can get, there's 20 of us, and if we can get all the tickets for a cheap price and the same price, because we tried booking, and
Okay.
the first 5 people, maybe the price is, for example, 200, and the next 5
This is very
people-
expensive to lecture. Can,
Yes.
we will help you. Aziz will find you and you give him your details. All right?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Tani.
Okay.
Mr. Tani.
Okay, no more questions on free tickets. Otherwise, there won't be an airline. Next question.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Where are you? Ah, hi.
Okay, sir, I'm an accounting student also, sir.
Yeah.
I'm accounting
Okay.
from accounting faculty.
Okay.
Sir, okay, since I'm an accounting student, I would like to ask you a technical question, sir. It's a recent issue that has been plagued all the airlines in Malaysia. Hello, the DCH charges. I heard the charges are going to increase by 10 times, but I heard it's going to be implemented stage by stage. So as a CEO of Asia, what do you think the ticket prices will change, sir? Is it will be the same or much more expensive? And can the middle class people, can they still afford to fly? Thank you, sir.
Okay. So obviously, we as an airline industry, we thought it was a crazy increase, and we actually formed an association after that increase. We've had good dialogue with the minister. The charges have to go up. We accept that. But We thought the suddenness and the size of it was crazy. Plus, we wanted to know what that money was going to be used for. So I think we've got a dialogue. And I think my whole life I've been fighting to keep costs down. We fight with Malaysian airports, we fight with regulators. And what we want is efficiency, because AirAsia has made people able to fly, and Malaysia has become the biggest hub. But we will kill it if we keep increasing charges. And so I think dialogue is important, and the minister is listening, and so I think we will have a good solution going forward. But it comes down to communication. When these charges came out, no one talked to anyone in the airline industry, which is crazy. You know, just one day we received a letter to say, in 2 weeks' time, charges are going up by 1,000%. That doesn't make sense. So dialogue is important. Okay? Next question. Good luck in your accountancy.
Mr. Tony, yeah, I'm at the center of the hall.
Ah, okay. Hi.
Okay, hi. I am Suwana from Faculty of Design and Architecture. Okay, firstly, we prepared a proposal for you since we are going to have a trip to Perth, Australia this October. So the saddest thing is one of us can't go there because she don't have enough fund to support. So do you mind to...
We'll talk later. Okay?
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
find a way. Hey, ask me questions about management.
Mr. Tony. Hi, Mr. Tony.
Hi, where are
My name
you?
is Noriza binti Yusof, the next future CEO.
Okay.
All right, my question is, we as young generation, we want to achieve freedom easily. I would like to ask you, at this age, at what age your transition between working hard and working smart? At this age, 51 years old, are you still working hard? Do you have time for your family or, yeah?
Okay. I think there's time for everything, and I think a balance in life is really important. So I have 2 kids. One has just finished university, and one is just 16. And so, you know, I spend as much time as I can with them, and I think it's important to balance your life. Because again, before you know it, your kids have grown up, and you can't press a rewind button and say, I wish I did that. So whatever you go and do in your future life, make sure you balance your life out. Work is work, but make sure you have time for other things, because it's not just a singular function. Okay?
All right, we will allow only
right,
2
here.
more questions.
2 more questions.
Yeah, 2 more
Doctor
questions
here.
on the left-hand side of the hall.
Hello, Mr. Tony
Hello?
Fernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just curious. Okay, what urged you to involve in BPL? Why QPR?
Ah, okay. You know, I love football, and me and Din always just love football, and so we just did it. Why QPR? Because it was London, it was available, I lived in Uxbridge Road, and it was a small club. And we thought, wow, if we can build this club into something bigger, like we've done with AirAsia, it'd be great. So far, we're failing, and we got relegated twice. But we're now got a great manager, Jimmy Floyd Hasselback, and we're doing it the AirAsia way. We're getting a lot of young players. But you know, it's a fantastic feeling. You can never, winning at Wembley in the playoffs, 90 minutes, we had no shots. We had a player sent off. Derby were all over us. We had 1 shot, and Bobby Zamora scored in the 90th minute. And me and Din and Ruben are on the pitch at Wembley Stadium with 45,000 QPR fans going crazy. No one can ever experience that feeling. And so football is an amazing thing, and I love it. I haven't been very successful, but I wouldn't change it for any other thing. And hopefully one day we'll get back into the Premier League and make things happen. You look at Leicester City, Vichai is a very good friend from Thailand, they're going to win the Premier League. That's a dream come true. And good luck to them, you know? It makes us all able to believe that it's not just about Manchester United and Liverpool and all those other teams.
I hope
All right,
QPR
one
will
last
succeed.
question from the
Yes,
right
sir.
side of the
Hello, good
hall.
morning.
On the right side of the hall.
Good morning.
This one
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
Good morning, 3 minutes to go. So me and my friend over here on your
Hi.
side, yeah.
Yep.
Me and my friend, she's Nuraini. So anyway, welcome to UPM first. We are from Bachelor of Economics. So she wanna ask a question, and later on it's me.
All right, my question is that along your journey to gain your success, what is the most thing that, the failure that you face along your way? Yeah, that's my question. And for your information, this year I fly to 5 different destinations using AirAsia.
Oh, I love you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Failure. Well, you know, obviously QZ is probably the worst thing that's happened to me. And, you know, I deem it as a failure. But, you know, I can't say there's one particular thing that's a failure because life is about experiences. And I'm a better person because I've had failure. If everything is perfect in life, you won't be prepared for the bad things in life. So there's nothing in my mind that says, oh, that's a big failure. You know, F1 was a failure. QPR is not exactly a huge success. But it's all part of growing up and learning more. So there's not one particular thing that sticks to my mind. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Tan Sri Tony Fernandez.
Thank you very much, everybody. I've enjoyed it tremendously.